unorthodox.
Yeah. How are you doing?
That's what makes it better, right? You know, you get crazy stuff.
So.
Yeah, we're more authentic that way.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right, guys. Welcome to the Just Board It podcast. What's up, Graham?
Nothing. Not much.
Shawn the Sensei Farrell on with us this week. Pretty excited about that. Joining us all the way from New York.
Yep.
Took time out of
I like his background. He's outdoing you a bit there.
What's that?
My background.
He's got a few more than you, and there's me with.
Hey, but this is
still
even
sweet FA.
This right here is the first WCO team's trophy.
Nice.
In Rotterdam.
Who was on that team?
Josh Thielen, Corey Gilbert, Justin Stranger, and myself.
Nice.
But the cool thing about that story, and the reason that I have the trophy, is at the time I was not a pro player. Of course, I'm not now either. But at that time, I was a guy coming up, and I was kind of like the extra dude who's just supposed to like ride the coattails, you know, while Stranger and Thielen them do their thing. I was just supposed to kind of just get the win. But in the finals, the North American finals, I had to win my match to keep us in it. And then in the finals against France, I had to win my match to win it. Because otherwise, if I lose, literally we lose Cornhole to France.
Oh my goodness.
That would have been news if
France would have been catastrophic.
Yeah. So there was a lot of pressure, and it was the first time I was ever on TV, and I got a guy with a camera going down both ends and following you back and forth, and you can hear Stacy, talking about you because they're like right there. It's not like on TV where they're in a booth somewhere. Right. They're like 4 feet away from you on a desk talking about how you just messed up that shot.
That's awesome. But fortunately, that cup wasn't in your old building.
No, I was lucky that didn't happen. Yep, this is my old place got burned down, and then of course this one is the first singles open. Singles, I won that. Again, I wasn't favored to win that either, but
now you come over and visit us, and you're pretty much always favored to win.
Now I do, but when I first came over, I was just a guy through, and nobody knew who I was really. And I remember a friend of mine, Bert. So they had put up a picture of all the European pros and the American pros. They got them all together, so I'm not part of it. They got them together, took a picture of it, put it on Facebook, and when the weekend was over, my friend Bert goes, "Hey, so which one of these guys won singles?" Which I thought was hilarious.
Kind of funny. So how are you feeling, man? You're
it was a rough. I'm not gonna lie. When I first got it done, I didn't know it, but I'm allergic to anesthesia.
Oh, hold on. Let me preface this for people that are listening out there. So we're talking about Shawn having a back surgery, a few months ago, yeah?
Yeah, January was the first one.
Okay. So he'd been struggling with his back for a while, played all through last season with back problems. And any of you guys that got lucky enough to hang out with him and meet him and whatever, you probably saw him sitting around quite a bit because he'd walk up and down the lane about 10 times and then his back would be hurting him. He'd have to go sit down, stretch it out. So fast forward, now we're into recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did it because of that fact. Like doubles was easier because I could sit on my Zuka. But you get into singles, like I skipped some singles. And then like sometimes I just try to push through it, like Croatia, I try to push through it. Sure. And I decided that, they were like, oh, this will be really good. And you'll be able to get back and you'll be able to do stuff. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll just do it. And so it was a 5-hour process, and they have to basically pull my spine back. Then they put 4 bolts and 2 rods, and they put it in place. And there's actually in between my two discs, they put what's called a cage, and it lifts up. The other one kind of keeps it in place with the rods. So I woke up, I was sick. Sick. I couldn't take any medicine. I couldn't eat. I couldn't anything. And so I was supposed to go home, but I didn't. I went to a hotel, and the hotel handicap room was, I don't know why they designed it this way, was on the other side of the hotel. So I got to like walk this walk. And I like literally, I assume, as a man, you're not supposed to, but I was tearing because I literally just had my back ripped up and I'm trying to like walk down this thing with no pain medicines.
Is Jennifer?
So I make it to the room. And I still haven't taken any pain medicine. About 2 hours in, I'm like, finally like, okay, I could just rest for a second. And the fire alarm goes off. I'm like, so I don't know who I pissed off or what, but now I've got to walk back out. So my wife goes to the thing just to make sure it's real.
You walked back out. I would have been like, if it's my time to go, it's just my time to go.
Yeah, I thought about it because I was like, if I die, I'll be out of pain, right? I'll be out of pain. But she went to the front desk to make sure that it was real, not just they were like, yeah, well, we don't know if it's real, but we do need you to get out. They're like, oh, we have a wheelchair. And I'm like, where was the wheelchair when you saw me trying to walk through your lobby? Like, what? Really? I'm like, okay, fine. So anyway, I got it done. I got home. It took 3 days to get past the sickness. As the days went by, I started getting, better and going. Took a few weeks. I could walk at all time. But what happened was around the 4th or 5th week, I was doing stuff, and then I got this sharp pain in my back, and it stayed for days and went away. And then I did something. I'd go to do something again. It would do it again, and I'd be down for 3 days. Even just drinking coffee would be pain. Like right away, it's like somebody stabbing you with a knife. Ouch. So they do. I think they did an MRI or a CT scan. I think it was. And so I go in, and they show you where I had formed a bone spur, and it was touching my nerve.
Ouch.
And so whenever I would do too much or something, they would poke my nerve, and then I'd be toast for like 3 days. So I went back in. Now it's probably about 6 weeks ago, and they cut that off, and now I'm good. So it's just about building up, doing more and more walking and stuff. But all I do now is get a little sore, and I don't get any of the sharp pains or any of that stuff. So it's looking good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, man, for sure. So with that, surely, or because I know you gave up your pro spot.
Yeah, I don't want to say I gave it up. I didn't go after it last year, knowing that I couldn't play singles really at a high level. Sure, I could play a game or two, but you can't win anything with one singles game or two singles game. You got to go the whole day, and I knew that I'm not going to be able to do it. And so I just said, you know what, I'm having fun traveling and trying to, my thing at this point now is to like meet you guys, become friends with you guys, try to the Croatians, being friends with them, and the French, to everybody. And, I have jerseys from everybody, and I talk to everybody, and just grow the sport. And that's what I'm going to try to do for my contribution, is just try to get people excited about the game and get them playing, and get this, everybody going. So that's the most important thing. I do plan on traveling to Belgium and play with Roman.
You're going to team up with Roman in Belgium?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Team up with Roman. Yep.
Because he doesn't, because he needs help.
Yeah, he does. That's what I was thinking. He's
probably thinking the other way.
That could really use a good player.
Hey,
and
you want to do your part for the game? Pair up with someone like myself or Graham. Okay, that's how.
Yeah. No, listen. I like to win like the next guy.
No, I know.
So I'm going to try to put myself in the best position. So I don't try to play like I don't. I do. But if I lose, I've never, no matter if I've lost, and I've lost over there, I'm never angry at the person who beats me. That's what you're supposed to do. When you get to that board, you're supposed to beat me. I'm not good for you. That's good. That means that you're working hard and you're doing it, So,
Sure.
People talk about, oh, what about Roman taking your the amount of titles thing, because he has the most now. And I went, well, one, he lives in Europe.
Yeah. See, I don't
I
count
mean,
that.
he kind of has an advantage, but that's what, you know what? That's good. You know what? That's good. That's good because that means somebody's putting the time in, putting the work in, and doing it. So that's, I've got no problem.
So him saying he's got the most international is literally the equivalent of you saying, well, I've got the most stateside ones then. Of course you do. You live there. Like this, he's just there every weekend.
Yeah.
So I still
listen. Here's what I do know. That's why it'll never bother me. Anybody who's striving for it is great because that means you're trying hard and you get it. So good for him. I hope he keeps going. I hope he makes it great. And I hope somebody else over there says, you know what, screw that. I'm going to take it from him. You know, not that I'm rooting against them, but that's what you want. You want somebody because you want somebody to have that dream and that drive to go, you know what, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to put the time and effort into. So I hope he does. But here's the thing I like the best about it, no matter how many opens you have, and I hope there's 10,000 of them. You know, I hope it never ends. I hope people keep playing. I will have the first. No matter what. It doesn't matter if they have 1 million. I won the first one. You can't take that. You can't change it.
Can't take that away.
Nope.
Because Jimmy Humans likes to say he has the most international.
Yeah, it's not. Obviously, it's not true, though. I mean, I love Jimmy. Me and Jimmy are great friends. We do hibachi or stuff, but I mean, he doesn't have. Listen, if he traveled as much as I did, sure, but that's part of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's the skill to win. You got to have the skill to win. You got to become either friends with people over there or bring partners with you. You know, there's a big financial cost. There's a big time cost. That's all part of it. So sure, if he went as much as me, sure, he would have some. So would probably Trey Birchfield and Tony Smith, and you know what I mean. So but we all have our things. So
for sure. So what are you planning on? You're planning on what? You told me Belgium.
Yep, Belgium, and then I'm staying there, going to Croatia the next week.
Yep.
And I'm gonna play in Croatia. I'm gonna play with Dean, and then I'll come back.
Yep.
I'll come back for 10 days, and then I fly out and go to the UK, play with Denny Mallon. Then I'm gonna fly down to Crete and hang out there for 11 days, and then go to Finland and play in Finland with Denny again.
Yeah.
I had thought about going to Norway in a couple weeks. Just a question of I've been talking to some people to see if I can get because like again, it's last minute. It's going to be a thing. I want to make sure I at least have a shot. I don't need to win, but I do want a shot at it. If I'm
you're not going to pay.
Yeah, if I'm going to spend 8 hours on a plane and and the money that I got on the plane and an Airbnb and a thing, you want to have.
I 100% understand that, man, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody, I play with all kinds of people here. If you're just like, hey, it's an hour away, or even if it's a thing, I'm like, yeah, cool. But it is a big undertaking to travel the Atlantic.
Yeah.
To go play, so.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time myself.
Which is why I like that you got, you do the swaps and the blind draws, and we should do as many, like things so that we can, play and have a shot. Like me and Conrad won the UK blind draw. So we got to team up together and win, and that was great. And, like in Sweden, I swept the blind draw, the doubles, and the singles, but I got to play with my name's coming. The girl from Sweden. Maybe you guys know. Is it Linda?
Yeah. I know who. I don't know her, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she was a great player, and we won it. And and it's one of those things where my back was really bugging me because now we're talking the last event, and I'm dying. And I was like, listen, I got to tell you, I want you to know, because there's a lot of cultural differences, and you're not sure if you're being rude to somebody. And I didn't want her to think, because I grabbed the chair, and I said, when you're throwing, I'm going to be sitting in this chair. And I don't want you to think that this is like me being like, oh, I'm playing with a girl or I'm playing with this thing and I don't think you can do it or whatever. I was like, I want you to know the only way I can finish this and try to win this with you is if I sit in this chair. That's the only chance you have of us winning this,
Yeah,
and she threw really good. I just wanted to make sure she didn't think I was like, oh, look at this American, he doesn't even care and he's not even trying. And I just want to make sure that she knew that I was.
Because it's crazy. When we were on the Big Ass podcast a couple weeks ago, when we originally tried to get you on the show, but I had internet problems. They were telling us how like they go to all these events, and people will go, and in the blind draw, they'll see who they get, and then they'll just leave. They won't even play the blind draw.
Yeah, no, I would, and that does happen here, but I will never do that because for me that's disrespectful to the game. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to just help this person with their game and try to get better and just have some fun. I tell people, I'm like, listen, just have fun because nobody plays good if they're tense and they're just like thinking too much. You just have fun. I'll try to give you tips on stuff. And that's the other thing I like to do with the European game is, listen, I do have a lot of talent in the game. I do not have the best talent in the States. I'm not the high, but what I do play with is chess. I've won a lot. Almost like all of this has to do with this much talent, but this much chess. You can win this game by playing smart. And sometimes I watch the live feeds of like the Europe, like even this weekend, and I'm not going to say any names, but like I'm looking at it, I'm like, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, like you have one bag hanging in, and you had your opponent's bag behind it. And instead of like just bumping it, knocking it in so that you're behind his bag, now making it harder for him, right? Now he's got to do something. You go for an airmail, you know, you miss it, you know what I mean? And then like now he's got less pressure. He can come through. There's just things that I don't understand. Like people don't think about blocking unless it's absolutely like there's no other choice. It seems like people want to go airmail right away. If I can't push through and it's in a way, it's go airmail. It's like, I love the airmail and you got to have it, but always, what I say is always make the other guy shoot the low percentage shot. If you're ahead on the round, knock yours in, bang yours in, block his. Right now you're ahead on the round. We'll see what he does. He's got the pressure. You're ahead on the round. Always put the pressure on the other guy. Now, will he make it sometimes? Sure. He's going to make it sometimes. But percentages, it's kind of like a casino, right? So, yeah, some guy's going to hit a jackpot, but I get a lot more of the other guy's money in the end. That's why the casino's rich, because you play the odds, and the odds are you're not going to hit most of them.
No, I'm with you. I always try to throw up a block because I'm like, cool, you want to shoot an airmail? Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's how I want to lose. If I lose, I want to lose because you shot amazing and hit some crazy shots. I'll sleep like a baby. I'm like, you hit a backside airmail, you rolled over the pile, you did a 3-bag push. Great. I will sleep like a baby. If I do something that's dumb, that I know I shouldn't have done, 100%. I won't be able to sleep. I'll be thinking about it for weeks. I'll wake up like, oh my God, why did I do that? I was so stupid, you know?
You on about me, are you? One of our games.
Oh, 100%, Graham.
So I ended up playing the Linda in Sweden, and she was with her teammate, and they're whooping on us. Like they just hit everything. They're having a great game. It's 14-6 against me and Denny. And I think it was a rounders game. I believe it was a rounders game. Maybe it was even the bracket. I don't know. I have to ask Denny. But she has some bags. I have bags piled up ready to just fall, right? And she was going to throw. She has last bag. She was going to throw the bag. Like she hits, it falls. And I'm like, I literally stopped her. And Denny's over there like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't let her do something so silly, right? I was like, if she throws this, she's going to lose points. Or right now, she's going to get 2 points, you know? Like just throwing it away. I have no bags left. Just throw this away. You're going to get points. If she hits that, my 3 bags fall and I get points. It just doesn't, I couldn't do it. And it's crazy that she's like, I can't believe you. Like nobody would do that here. They wouldn't tell you to like not throw the bag or whatever. I was like, it's just, you have to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
So me and Josh, each tournament, we play a host sort of bragging rights game. And I was guilty of doing exactly what you're saying you shouldn't. I had last bag in the round. I've got a bag half in the hole. All I need to do is nestle up to it, enough to nudge it in, I win the game. Me being an idiot, I wanted to rub salt in the wound of me winning the trophy back after he beat me last time. I wanted to shoot the airmail drag off the back and I lose the game the next 2 rounds later.
Yeah, it's karma too.
But it was there. It wasn't even a difficult push.
Yeah.
I literally would have just nudged it that much and it's in.
Yep. And you know what? Here's the great. So here's the thing. Like when you missed that shot, you were already thinking to yourself, I messed this up.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to lose, because it's a mental thing,
Yeah.
And if you made it, it would have been great because you'd have won. But once you missed it, you were like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that.
I realized
I shouldn't have done that. He's gonna get me. He's gonna get me. And you're like, damn it, he got me.
Yeah.
Actually, to be perfectly honest, that game and the game before was how I won. The last game we played, I just outthrew him from start to finish. But the 2 previous games, I won because of that. Because he just thought, oh, I'm going to go for this. All right, you do that.
Yeah, I didn't play smart at all. And that was the result.
Listen, I'm going to tell you.
From being 2-0 up in the series and 4-2 down now.
Yeah, playing smart can absolutely win you games, even if your talent isn't like the best in the world. You can absolutely win games so I say, like, anybody who watches this over there, learn the game, learn the strategies, learn the shots. The other thing I tell people, like, when people start throwing, the first thing they do is they do slide in the hole, right? They just practice all day, all the time, slide in the hole, slide in the hole, slide in the hole, slide in the hole. That's what they practice. Then maybe they start doing some air mails. Like, so, you throw 8 bags, try to go in the hole, 8 bags. Then eventually you get to air mails, you do air mails. But it's your practice regimen for people, especially in Europe, is in the hole, maybe air mails, in the hole. You should be practicing with somebody where they put they're literally on the other side. They put that blocker there, and you deal with that blocker. Maybe you step out and you get around it. Maybe you do the airmail. I wouldn't, me, I'm not going to like just go to aggressive, but maybe that's what your strategy is. But work on just going around the bag, and how will you get around that bag? The same way you practice just going in the hole, practice each shot now, and then on his side, he's going to do it for you. He's going to put a block on, and you're going to have to get around it. And that's what you're doing, is that day is just practicing getting around those blocks. Because what happens is you get to the game and somebody puts up a block, and you're like, now you're figuring out and trying to do these shots while you're in a tournament, while you're in a game. You need to practice these things so that you're like, oh yeah, this is what I do this all the time. I set this up. I just go around. I know what, easy, got it. Practice all of the stuff, not just sliding in the hole.
For sure. No, for sure. I mean, I try to do that, and we, I've gotten a little better at being able to deal with some blocks and things like that. But I really don't shoot air mails that often, man, because I feel like I'm off all the time. Like, I never feel like I'm just on an air mail. But then we can turn around and just do air mail challenge, and I'm like, cool, hit. But as soon as I need to hit one in a game, man, I'm long, or I'm to the left, or I'm to the right. So I've really been working on that. But so I won our last qualifier, and you were talking about just playing smart. Don't make any dumb decisions. I went 2-2 in rounders, and then just came back through the bracket and did great because I made very minimal mistakes, but I also didn't take any big chances. I was like, all right, I'll give up a couple points here, and then just try to make it back.
It depends what the board is, because I'm not saying don't take chances on some things, but does this make sense for this aggressive shot? Because sometimes you're like, hey, I can take the shot, and really they can't really, especially if I've got 2 hanging. You know what I mean? Like, if I go for the airmail to drag it, if I get them all, I know I'm ahead. If I don't, he's still got those 2 hanging. He's got to try to blow through and knock mine in. So you have to look at the board and what's aggressive, but aggressive isn't always the answer. And that's what I try to get people to do. Is sometimes it is. Sometimes you're like, hey, I can't really get hurt by this. It's like, maybe I give up 1, but with a chance to get 6. Yeah, I'll take that chance. Yeah. But if you're going to do something where in the end you're aggressive, well, just if you miss, allows them to just go through with a push, and now I'm getting 3 because you missed. Like, even if you made it, he can still make that push, and it's even. Like, what were you risking here, and what was the chances you were taking to just maybe get a wash? I don't know.
Yeah, you really got to weigh up the risk and reward, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole game. It's risk versus reward, and at all times put the most risk on the other person. And I promise you, you will win more than you lose, the same way the casino does. You just play the odds.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of this weekend, we're going to get into recapping that a little bit. And I'm excited to have you on because obviously we were both watching the doubles finals at the same time yesterday. because EJ was talking to both of us. So later, if you want to get into the shots you were just talking about, we can.
Yeah, but I'm not going to call anybody out, but there were some in the finals that I really thought were not thought out properly.
I mean, I guess if I asked you which finals you were talking about, we would know who we were talking about. But I can tell you yesterday's finals was a bit strange, in my opinion, with everything that took place in the second game, or in between games and then in the second game. So I do want to get into that a bit with you when we get to that point.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I mean, I'll give an opinion on stuff. I just don't want to call somebody out and be like, I get it, I wasn't there. And, sometimes you make a poor shot, or not a poor shot, a poor choice based on you're just excited. You're in the finals and you didn't really think about it. But listen, that's the time you need to think about that stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because guess what? If you're playing somebody that your skill is tremendously better than, you can get away with a lot. Once you're in the finals, the skill level is even if one team you think is better, the skill level is very close and you can get beat very easily. And so those are the times that those shots, I mean, because honestly, on a few of those shots, this changes if you took different shots.
For sure.
I honestly feel like the other team would have won had they just made these changes.
I can agree. Graham, I know you don't know anything about this. We're talking about finals, dude. I mean, I only know about it a couple of times, so.
Yeah.
Shawn, we sit here and talk shit about each other a lot.
No, it's fun. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so.
When I play with my friends here in my little facility here, we talk shit and give each other shit all the time. I mean, it's fun.
I've watched a few of your streams. I've seen.
Yeah. Especially Bert, my friend Roberto Silva. Like he goes out. In fact, if you see, you know how like there's the chat and the message thing, and that's him. Like I'm not saying those things. When we're doing those live streams, he's on like don't be. He's like don't be weirdos, talk or whatever. And he'll say different stuff, but it says it under my name, and I'm like, oh man, come on. I don't see it till later.
But Graham's also at a disadvantage because he's a fucking Eagles fan.
Oh.
They're reigning champs.
He's one of them fucking weirdos.
Yeah, I'm a Niners fan.
No, we are Niners fans. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, even.
Yeah. Oh, I got you beat. Oh.
That one's from 5 or 6 years back. So I like it. But I always have a Niners hat or a Niners shirt nearby during football season to wear.
I'll let you in on something. Shawn, Farrell.
Yeah, no, I'm almost positive holy shit, did you cut your hair?
Yeah, it's not as long.
Oh my goodness me. I can't believe Jennifer let you do that.
Yeah, me either. I don't know if you guys you guys.
Yeah.
Facility.
I would give anything to have a facility like that. Just not enough room out here, man.
I even play some video games once in a while. PS5 right there.
Yeah.
Nice 98-inch TV right there.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the burnt board. One of the boards that's I shouldn't say survived because that's not survival, but that was able to be taken from the wreckage. And then this is what it looked like.
That's crazy, man. I remember when it happened because I talked to you about it when it happened, but yeah, man, that was crazy, dude.
But without that happening, I don't have this. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah. So let's get into the match. What do you want to talk about that happened at the?
All right, so we'll start off. We'll start off with like the blind draw. We always just kind of recap to see let everybody know who won. So the blind draw, Katarina teamed up with Robert Windler, and they beat Goran and Peter Phelps in the finals. I saw one of the matches. I didn't get to see the finals on Friday night. But Robert played well all weekend. I mean, Katarina's she struggled last weekend in Germany, so I'm hoping she played a little better this weekend. But Robert played well all weekend because he took third in singles as well. And then in the swap, you had Thomas Pernack and Yanni Turman against Hans Linson and Thomas Hofste, with Pernack and Yanni taking it down. Two great teams to pair up in a swap, I mean, to be honest. But then you get over to singles, and, you know, we missed all the French last weekend at the German Open. We didn't have any of the French there. And it shows, though, that unless they're all coming to these tournaments, lots of different things can happen. Because in the Netherlands, you had Roman, you had EJ, you had these guys, but you also had the French, and Mathieu took down pretty much everything. You know, he took down singles, then he took down the pro event. Now, the pro event obviously didn't have all the pros in it, but he took it down over Gavin Clark because Gavin Clark would have gotten the wild card to get in to even out the numbers. But in singles,
Gavin Clark is a European pro?
No.
Oh.
What they do is if they don't have enough pro players, they will give a couple wild cards. So like Chris and Gavin both got, I think they both got it in Germany, or at least Chris got it in Germany. I know Gavin got it this weekend, but it's they're doing it because based on their performances throughout the season where they've been in finals and they've done these things.
Is it because aren't they on a base? Is that what it is? They're on a
Yeah, they're military members, but that's not why. They're doing it because they need to even out those numbers for the pro event.
Well, no, I meant so that makes them because I guess it's weird to say that somebody's going to be in your European pro event who's not living in Europe.
So, well, yes. Now, Gavin is permanently he's stationed in Europe, just like EJ and all that. So they can become European pros. Chris, on the other hand, is just here at TDY, so he will be going back in a month or two. But he's constantly in the top 3-4 people. And I think I'm not saying it's less, but it is kind of less and less emphasis than to say a stateside pro event. I think it's just something more for the pros to do and kind of have that battle out to see who's that top pro. Really less than not as much emphasis as like a signature or something like that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as long as you're playing cornhole, it's fine. I just want to know if I could get in on one if I was there. If I would.
You can't because you're not a resident in Europe. Like I can because I'm a resident of England.
Yeah.
But you can't because you're not a resident.
Okay.
Like you don't reside in England or in Europe. So
I spent a lot of time there. Exactly how much time do you have to spend?
You might as well get you a post box and just kind of do this.
No, but honestly, they can I get an event number? Like if I go to 7 events, you know what I mean? Like
up with
whatever I did last year, I was 3rd.
I would imagine if you called Trey Ryder or Stacy and asked them, man.
You know what I mean, honestly, what I would like them to do is just make me like an international ambassador pro or something. You know what I mean? Like
I think
just something that says, and listen, I don't want anything from them. I just want to help this game get in the Olympics. That's it. I don't want anything from them. I'm not asking to be paid or some privileges or something. I pay my own way anyway.
I think
I feel like I've done a lot. I mean, I've gone to Australia with them. I go on to stuff. I always talk up for ACL, and I love the ACL, and they're doing a great. You know, they get a lot of shit for stuff, and I may not agree with everything, but we don't get to where we are without the ACL. Now, again, I may not agree with everything because somebody's going to jump down my throat. Well, they did this or that, and I may not agree with that. But the bottom line is, without the ACL, we're not talking on this screen right now.
That's a true fact.
This stuff that's happened up here doesn't happen. The being in Australia, all the stuff that happens in Europe, without the ACL pushing that and putting that out, it doesn't happen. So, they do need to get the credit for it.
I have nothing against the ACO. I played in an ACO event this year, brought hardware home from that ACL event. But you're right. And, you know, as much as I got along with Frank and the ACL guys, you're right. I mean, we're not globally expanding without the ACL.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope they keep doing it. I hope they, because I do feel like they've lost some people with some of their decisions on stuff, and some people are really angry. And I'm most sad because I feel like if for some reason it does hinder the ACL, the first thing to go will be their, you know, the outward stuff. You know what I mean? The Europe stuff. I don't want that to happen. I want it to grow, because that's how we get it into the Olympics. So we need this. I want to do this. So when I come, I'm always trying to, you know, become friendly with the people, get people excited about the sport and going.
Let's curb that for just a moment, because I want to rip through this, because there is a lot about that I want to talk about, and this is why we want people like you and Denny and you guys that travel over here a lot on the show. Okay, so in singles, EJ finally getting back into form, because he has struggled this season. Sorry, EJ. I know you're out there listening, hopefully, but you've struggled a bit this year, man. And I tell you, I picked you at the beginning of the season, but you've struggled a little bit, man. But he was back on form this weekend. Unfortunately, he did get double dipped by Matthew. And I don't know. I think a little bit of that may have just become a little bit of fatigueness, maybe kind of some overexcitement. Not because
I did watch. I don't think I watched the first game. I watched the second game, and from what I can remember, it did feel like once Matthew kind of got a lead on him, he kind of lost his focus, because, like, you know, he missed one, and then Matthew would go in again, and then he'd miss again. You know what I mean? Like, he was the round just kept getting worse. As long as Matthew kept going in, the round just kept getting worse, and he just was like, oh, I felt like he was chasing it. You know what I mean? He's kind of like got a little tight because the number got too far apart. But that's who knows?
I think like last year his mentality was different, because he was making a lot of the finals. So you have this different mentality, and when you're not making the finals every tournament this season, you get into that finals, and I think you have to try to get that mentality back a little bit. And I'm not talking shit, man. I don't get there that often, but I felt like you said, though, I felt like he was just kind of playing from behind the whole time. And I don't mean in score. I mean just in thought process of what we're doing next. Just kind of behind.
Yeah, he just missed on shots he wouldn't miss on. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You know, even when you just made a mistake, you think you would, the next one you're going to make, instead of making a 4-point loss, now it's a 6. You know, you had the final bag, and it didn't even really make it all the way even up. You know, and I'm like, oh man, because now it's a 6-point. You know, it's like, and then you start feeling like, can I even come? I myself included. If you have a few of those, you go, man, can I even come back? Can I even, like, you know? But you have to remember that this is one of the only sports that there's no fourth quarter with the time running out. As long as I wash or get a point every round, I win. Like, one of the only, you know, like you talk about the Eagles, right? I mean, if it's 2 minutes to go, like the Super Bowl, right? When it was 4 minutes to go, there was no way, no matter what Kansas City does, they can't come back. There's too many points and not enough time. This is one of the sports where just win this round, and at worst, wash it. Win the next round. Win the next round. Win the next round, and you win. There's no time. I mean, there is in
round limited.
Round limited, but you guys don't play round limited, right? So
and the ACL's not going to play round limited next year either.
Yeah, it's a different game. I still like the traditional game, because I like I'm down 18-4 and coming back.
Yeah,
I love it. You know what I mean? Like, that's great.
I'm a slow starter, so a round limited game is kind of rough for me, because I get off to a slow start, give up a big round, man. It's hard to come back.
Yeah.
But anyway,
no, it's a different game. I don't mind watching it, you know. So I was always okay if they had, like, you know, they used to do the shootouts and then the regular, and then that's fine, because it is a different game and it's kind of fun. But I definitely prefer the traditional 21. You know, I don't care if it's 20-0. You know, I can still come back from this.
For sure. So
I've done that once.
Yeah,
That was the very first UK one.
Hey, and I'll bet you it's one of your favorite best game. You know what I mean? Like it's the one you remember. It's in that you probably have a handful of games that you're like,
Yeah.
man, and you remember that game and how that felt, and that's one of them.
Well, it's the only time I've actually ever beaten Dan Lilly, one of the top guys in the UK.
Yeah,
The very first one, I think it was in. We did a league format to begin with before we went to bracket. And we played a best of 3. It was one game apiece, and he was like 20-1 or 20-0 up in the decider, and I just brought it back, just point. That's the only time I've ever beaten him. I won't forget it.
And you gave him a 20-point head start.
Yeah. But I've also done it the other way. I've also been in the decider game. I've been 19-2 up, and I've lost.
What I've noticed is if you are down by that much and you get to about, say you're down 20-4 and it gets to about 20-14, that person over there is thinking how you're going to come back and win, and they're tight as hell. Because at this point, you've got nothing to lose because you were just about to get smashed. You've got nothing to lose. Where that person over there is like, I was just up 20-0. And they're tight, and they make the mistakes, and then they lose. You know, it happens. The person who has that lead, it's weird because you could be up still 8 points, and you're just all tight and freaked out because you're like, oh man, they're going to come back. They're going to come back on me. I also think like when you get king seat, and I don't know what the statistics are, but I wish I could have them. If you have king seat and you lose the first game, I feel like it's 60% or maybe even 65% that the person who needed to double dip gets the double dip.
Yeah.
It's weird because you would think it'd be 50-50, or if anything, it should be towards the person who got king seat because they were the person who achieved the king seat. But it's not. It always feels like if that person who has king seat loses that first game, more times than not, they get double dipped.
Well, you're funny. You're talking about double dip because that's what Mathieu did to EJ in the singles.
Yeah,
double dipped it. So
now, did Mathieu play EJ? So he hadn't even played him.
Nope. So
who did beat? Who put him in the losers bracket? Do you know?
Who put
Mathieu
on the losers? Let me look it up. So. But getting third in singles was Robert Windler, the Dutchman. Just played really well. He played really well in Germany too, and then just carried it over to his own tournament and played really well. The big one is in fourth spot, Graham, Richard Blanc, coming over in a couple weeks for the UK National Championships. Another, top 4 finish for him. So whoever's got to play that guy's got their work cut out for them. Let me see if I can find it. Singles bracket. Who put Mathieu down?
No, EJ did beat him in the semis.
Oh, okay. You're right. Sorry.
Oh, he did?
On the other side. I thought he lost to Robert Windler.
Yeah.
That's a different story then. But yeah, he beat him. What was the score?
21-8.
All right.
So
I did notice, I do my scouting. I had some PPR sent to me, so I know what the shooting was. It looks like singles was much better of a PPR day than doubles was. Doubles numbers didn't look great.
Yeah, Shawn, a lot of the singles numbers this weekend didn't look all that great either.
I don't know. The one I got looked pretty good. I think Mathieu had like a 9-9.
No, I'm not saying there wasn't good ones. What I'm saying is I looked up some games and literally people were in the 7s and low 8s.
Well, I'm looking the overall, the singles, you had 9-9 for 117 rounds. That's really good. That's very good.
No, for sure.
No matter where you are, Europe or anywhere, 9-9 for 117 rounds is good. 9-6-8 for 68 rounds. That's Goran. That's really good. Roman 9-5-6 for 84 rounds. That's really good. EJ 9-2-5 for 93 rounds. That's really good. So you have 4 people in the mid 9s, and then you fall into the 8s. But for the rest of the page is in the 8s. But when you go to doubles, it starts with Richard blank 931, and then nobody else is in the nines.
Yeah.
Doubles
was rough.
What's that?
I said doubles was rough, but we're going to get into that. We're going to get into
Was it slow? Was the board slow that day? Like, what was the...
Hold on. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're going to get into it. So, but anyway, yeah, that rounds out singles. And then, like I said, Matthew, he went and took the pro down. So, and then singles for tier 2. And I know we don't talk a lot about tier 2 in the States, but over here, man, it still means something. And, you know, you get into some of these tournaments, and even, I mean, I was in tier 2 last week in Germany for singles, and it's the first time I'd never not made tier 1, but I had a couple European pros in tier 2, just bad games, bad board conditions, whatever. But I got to give a shout out to my girl Fleur. She took down tier 2 singles, man. I'm super stoked for her. Another Dutchman, or I should say Dutch woman. But yeah, man, she took it down over Constantine Barr. She avoided the double dip, so good for her. She went against your statistic, but I was super, super happy for her. I'm really stoked that she got that. And then we're going to go doubles tier 2 first, because I want to talk about this before we get into doubles tier 1, because that was, to me, an ongoing issue. But so KT and John Litchfield took down doubles tier 2. KT finally throwing decently on form, still not to where I know he can throw, but kind of digging himself out of the cornhole grave that he had been lying in for a while. They avoided the double dip as well, but yeah, they threw really well. And then taking down I can't pronounce the name, Beat went, and then Lars Stenenberg. But in third place, man, our boy Levi and his dad. So Levi, you would have, I think you would have met him last year. A junior player with a blonde mohawk, wears a glove to throw, kind of a bigger kid, but super nice guy, super nice kid, super nice family. He follows our podcast page, and he is the first to like, listen, everything. Like
he's like our biggest fan on Instagram.
What's his last name?
Vitasek, Vitasek. Vitasek.
Yeah, I must not have him on there.
He goes by Levi the Wave on Instagram.
Yeah, super nice kid. I mean, Shawn, if you meet this kid, you're going to love this kid, because he has your mentality about let's grow this game. He's out there being friendly to everybody. He's rooting everybody on. Everybody he walks by, he's like, hey, good luck, good luck, good luck.
That's great.
I was glad to see them do well. So, yeah, let's get into doubles yesterday, man.
Okay.
All right. So I went to Slovenia in January for the first tournament of the season. And I understand that running a tournament, when you've only got a couple directors and maybe your club helping do things, I get it. It's hard. A lot of work. Not saying it isn't. So I'm not putting this on those guys. So when I talk about this next stuff, if any of you directors are out there listening, I'm not putting this on you guys. I'm putting it on us as a cornhole community. When we're rocking up to these tournaments first thing in the morning that have been set up all weekend, and they're all playing from pitching mats, we can look down that line and see which boards are messed up. Grab out the tape measure. Let's straighten them all back up first thing in the morning. Because if they start moving throughout the weekend, by the Sunday, they could be 10 centimeters off.
Yeah, which is
almost 4 inches.
Hey, so for these people you're talking about with this event, I've been twice at a pro event, pros only, pro event, and had a row of boards that were wrong. Like, they started wrong. And so, like, there's mistakes that happen, and certainly if it can happen where the board. If you don't have a mat, but even if you have a mat, depending on the mat, it can move. So you should check them. I mean, I have one of those laser things because I want to know. You know what? If it's off by a little bit on my slide, I'm not going to know. But on an airmail, I'm going to know for sure.
But is that not how we figured out in the finals of yesterday's doubles that the boards were off?
Yeah.
I mean, I will venture to say, if the boards aren't off, that match turns out drastically different in the first game.
Yeah, I didn't know they were off. I did notice something happened with the scoring.
That was weird. Game. So so they played the first game. And now, when I told Graham this, Graham's response is, yeah, but both sides got to play on that 4 inches. Because 10 centimeters.
Yeah, but if one team is more of an airmailer.
So,
I've not watched any of it, so
it was off
Josh
10
said
centimeters.
Out that Bruno was one of the ones in the final who is regarded as probably the best airmailer in Europe. So then, yeah, it does make a difference.
10 centimeters is 3.9 something like inches. 4 inches is a lot.
Well, and an airmail, again, honestly, on a slide, it's probably not. Honestly, I don't think it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'm going to lose because it's 4 inches. Now, if I have to airmail, I could lose because it's muscle memory. I don't look at the hole. I know you're aiming for the hole, but you throw so many of them, it's this much. And it lands at that distance. And if you're 4 inches off, that means if it's close, I'm too far. I go over and once I do it twice, because I can mess up, everybody can mess up. But if I throw 2 or 3 airmails and each one of them goes past the thing, I want it measured because that doesn't happen. That's not happening.
Or
sometimes you go, yeah, it's off. And airmail, maybe even a roller, like I'm learning to roll. And if you don't hit that roll right at the right spot, you ruin it. It's gone. It has to hit that particular spot.
Obviously, I'm not as good as you. I'm not, and I'm not as skilled as you. But you say with your slide, you're probably not going to notice that much. I don't know, man, because I feel like maybe not on an inch because of where your landing spot is could be just a little bit fluctuating. But when you're talking 4 inches, man, you could be front boarding a lot. You could be hitting at that level.
You could certainly get some front boards. I just feel like if you're a good player, you're going to adjust quicker because straight in is kind of the thing that we're talking about. Like,
but let's say
straight in is straight in. But if my game is airmail, you absolutely screw the airmail guy. Absolutely. You 100% screw him.
Let's say
he can't possibly play correctly because that is a very intricate and exact thing. No, listen. They shouldn't be 4 inches off.
I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm very much a land in between, like, level 2, level 3, and let it slide in or try to, like, lay up that block. Now, if I'm throwing my normal shot and all of a sudden, man, I'm hitting level 4, I'm going to add to that. And now my muscle memory is not doing what it's supposed to be doing because I'm off 4 inches. Like, my muscle memory is now hitting level 4. And if you're playing slow boards, and I believe that those boards were kind of slowing down this weekend, because if you watched, there were, like, I watched EJ throw a couple bags that should have slid in, and they just hung up right at the hole.
So was just the broadcast board off, or was all of them off?
I don't know. I'm only speaking on the broadcast board because that's the one that got measured. So if you guys are out there listening, this is what happened. Mateo and Bruno are setting king seat. Chris and Gavin battle their way back through. They get to the finals. They've got to double dip them. They play the first match and just smoke them. Like, they played great. They played great game. They won. And after the match, Bruno's like, I want to measure these boards because I do some airmails that were just way off. And they measured
that's how you know. That's how you know.
And they measured them, and they were 10 centimeters off, which is like 3.9. I think it's like 3.94, 3.95 inches. So right at 4 inches, we'll say. So now you're not throwing 27 feet. You're
Yeah,
throwing
no, I don't.
37 feet,
Especially
4 inches.
what I'm saying is, I get it. It's bad for it, and it should do it, and it will change everything. But it was extremely unfair for Bruno.
Yeah,
because of his
and I
game
think
style.
it mentally messes them up. So they get it fixed, and then we get into game 2, and right off the bat, Bruno and them put up an 8 spot, just bang, 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 like he's just nailing it, dude. And then Chris and Gavin battle back. Now we get to a point where Chris and Gavin are up 16-13. The round scores out, and it was that round, I believe, was scored correctly.
Yes,
so
that round was, because I saw that.
Yeah,
they said something happened prior.
It puts them up to 17-16.
Yes.
So then they go back because they feel that 2 or 3 rounds before that, that Bruno and Mathieu were given an extra point. Now I don't know who was keeping score because it wasn't on Gavin and them side. It was on the other side. So I'm not real sure who was keeping score, I don't believe. Oh no, it was on Gavin and them side. And I believe Gavin was keeping score. So if the score was wrong, that's on him.
It's on him, but I think the rule is 1 round. You can go back 1 round and fix it. You can't go back to round 1. You know what I mean? You can't go back to round 1, but like, you know what? I think you can't. You just can't. I think it's 1 round. You can go back. Like you could enter it, go to the next one. And I was confused too, because I know the round that they put in was a 4 spot. And I'm like, what are they doing right now? They're like, well, there's some other round that wasn't. And are you all in agreement that happened?
Yeah. So then that happens. So now instead of being 17-6 with the lead change, Bruno and Mathieu being up on top.
16-16.
Now it's 16-16.
Yeah.
So my question, okay, and then as it sits, Gavin and Chris ended up winning the whole thing. They end up winning. Congratulations to them both. I'm glad to see them finally get a win because I know they've been working hard for it, man. And they've had a couple tough breaks. They've had some unlucky bags. I was super glad they won, man. Good for them. But, so I'm not going to take anything away from that. I'm not. Congratulations. You threw better. You freaking won. Period. End of. That's no matter
what else I noticed too is they took the momentum away.
You won. So Chris and them win. Mathieu and Bruno get second. Again, another event this weekend. Roman, he's the only event that he podiumed in was doubles, and him and Gordon got third. And they edged out Max Krutzer and Christoph Antis, which super stoked for my 2 German dudes, man. They're playing lights out this season. Their game has come on. Max has been playing good for a while. Christoph has just came on the last couple tournaments, just playing amazing. So I don't want to take anything away from them, but I do want to talk about this again. So congratulations to all them guys. But I will say this. I believe 100% that the boards being off, that's a big mind mess up, dude. That's a big mind fuck. Like you're all over the place because the boards are messed up. Then you get it fixed, and now you're in the next match thinking about how you probably could have won the last match had the boards been right, because your airmail would have been right. And then you get the point differential thing that happens.
Yeah, and that one's big because of they had scored 2 or 3 rounds in a row and took the lead.
It was like
so momentum was swashing, and all of a sudden you got this break where we all took a break. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think it was like 16-8, and then Bruno and them had scored 9 straight points.
Yeah, and they were definitely, the momentum was swung in their direction quite a bit. And again, all I know is you can only go back one round and fix it. I'm pretty sure that's because I think Denny had this thing where he was talking with somebody. You can only go back a round. You can't go multiple rounds, and especially if you're the guy who's doing the scorekeeping, you can't be like, oh, I screwed this up 3 rounds ago.
Now I in a tournament last year, I got lucky that they let me swap it. I scored 5 rounds in a row wrong. But not because I input the score wrong. When I was hitting it, I accidentally hit, or no, sorry. Yeah, accidentally hit like swap sides or some shit. Like, it was weird. So it swapped both of us. So I was putting in the score right. I was just
but they were getting it.
Yeah, the wrong team.
Yeah.
So we had to go back and
they'll let you do that. Yeah, no, they would let you do that because you were scoring it correctly. You just didn't have the names done correctly.
Yeah.
But I will say, even in the pro event, that's happened before, and it actually happened to my pro partner at the time in his singles, and the person put the names in wrong and submitted them. And if they had figured it out right away, they could have switched it.
Yeah.
But they both went to they got their next thing on there and they went to their game and played their games. And then during talking in the game, the guy goes, "Oh yeah, this guy beat me and that's why I'm in the losers bracket." And my partner's like, "Well, I'm not. What do you mean? I didn't lose, so I'm not in a losers bracket." He's like, "Yeah, you're in a losers bracket because I just lost." And so the names, it was submitted. So that guy got to kept going in an actual pro event, even though he had lost.
So I will say, because we were just talking about a lot of things we don't like about the ACL, and there's certain decisions, and we said we'd come back to this, and we would talk about this kind of stuff. I don't know if you ever listened to the Big Ass podcast.
I've heard. I probably heard more clips than entire things, but
I listened to the episode that Trey was on, and then of course, I listened to Around the ACL like the week later when Trey's talking about it again. I will say this: I am hoping. I don't know. I don't know why. I couldn't imagine that Cornhole would have been like, nope, we're only going to go with one. But if I had an opinion, and I'm not talking bad shit, all I'm saying is if I had an opinion, I'm pretty sure that Cornhole was probably like, hey, we'll work with both organizations. And then all of a sudden one organization was like, nope, if you're going to work with the other, we don't want to work with you. And he was like, okay, then I'm out. But anyway, Cornhole, way easier to score anything, way easier to run shit. So now, obviously, Trey's came out this year in the last couple weeks, and he has said the ACL has just dumped tons of money into hiring a firm that literally this is all they do. Tech, build apps. Tech, build apps. So starting next year, apparently, we are going to get rid of the fan zone app, the player app, the blah, 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 like the 5 different things you got to go to do anything ACL. It's going to be one-stop shop. You're going to be able, within a few minutes, find a tournament, run a tournament, score your match, whatever. Everything is going to be so much easier. I'm praying this really happens because the way games get scored using the ACL app is absolutely ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Why do I need to know what bags are doing? Just put the score in. If it is a 3, a 4, a 6, cool. Tell me how many I got in, how many on the board. Outside of that, just figure that shit out on your own. You are the technology. I shouldn't have to be trying to do math as I'm trying to concentrate on drinking beer and playing cornhole. Goodness me. And then, because you get some of these Europeans that aren't very good at keeping score. So when they're telling you, they're like, oh, 5 to you. And they've already moved all the bags. And I'm like,
okay. Well, how is that 5?
What was the 5?
All right. I guess, hey, it's 1 on 6 if you can't tell me.
Plus, cornhole players have the shortest
You
memory ever. It's like, as soon as we move bags, it's like, who had what bags where?
Nope.
Nobody
Shawn,
can remember.
Say that. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, as a person that loves statistics, I'm not a fan of that shit. Because we had a match in the UK. Yeah, no. We had a match in the UK that I went back, watched it 3 times because it was a wash. And instead of, it was so let me rephrase that. It wasn't a wash. A person scored 6. They had 1 in and 3 on. And instead of putting 1 in and 3 on, they just put 2 in. Now, 6 and 6, I get that. But at the end of the day, when you're watching the ticker go by and you're doing PPR checks and and you're all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, that statistic's not right. I don't like it.
I think the worst one is when people pad their stats and it's a wash on sixes and they do 12-12.
Yep. Oh, that's happened in this country as well.
Yeah, they pad stats. I honestly, I don't see why. Why bother?
Well, if you're padding,
that's just me.
You're really just screwing yourself because you're going to get yourself into a situation where your actual PPR isn't good enough to be in the bracket you're in.
Yeah, right? I don't see the point. But I get it. Some people do it. They just because sometimes people don't, and that's the thing. That's how you usually catch the people. Like I'm not gonna because there's definitely somebody here that does it a lot, and it's like, dude, how can you be in the tens and not be anywhere near a podium?
Sure. Well,
you know what I mean? Like, that the math doesn't work. Like you can't shoot this good all the time and never sniff a podium. That doesn't. It's no.
But Shawn, I'll put it like this: I'm a proud member of Cobra Kai Cornhole.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I get my choice with what? A black and a yellow jersey.
Yep.
But if I average over an 8.5.
Yep.
For the season,
then you get your elite. Yep.
And get my elite. So if I'm submitting my PPR to you, and every time there's a wash, I'm putting a 10, 10, or a 12.
No, you could cheat it. Absolutely, you could cheat it. You could.
Now, I personally won't because then I have no pride in that.
Yeah.
But people do that.
You could absolutely cheat it, and you know what? In the end, you screwed yourself because you didn't. The purpose with Cobra Kai, like even when we do members, like Europe's a little different because there wasn't enough people. Because our traditional way here is to get in. Everybody can get in. We see where your PPR is. And then we pick somebody who's just slightly better than you, just a little bit, so that it's an actual challenge for something you to work on, not unattainable. We don't say, oh, you got to play Nick to get in. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. No, it's just something so you feel like you achieved something, you work towards it, and you got it. Now, the elite was the same premise, right? So there's a level, and it's like, hey, if you got to the 8.5 is not the only thing. If you won an open singles, then you got in too, because we thought like, if somebody's a roller and a really a muddy player or whatever, well then if they're really good at being a muddy player, they're going to win an open singles. And if you win an open singles, good enough, you win because you literally went to an open singles and you won it. Good. So 8.5, but you feel like it was something you were trying for and you achieved it, and then it felt better that you earned it.
Yeah, and you let me be a member, and I appreciate that. I have not ordered a jersey yet because I still feel like I got something to prove before I do that. Before I wear that jersey in a competition, I feel like I've still got something to prove. Now, I feel a little better about it after winning our qualifier because it was my first podium on my own singles. So I feel a little bit better about it, but it was a big deal to me. And I was super appreciative when we talked about it and you were like, yeah, come on, man. And I think, mainly because my trying to be an ambassador for the game and traveling and trying to promote the game. But yeah, on a standpoint of level, like skill level wise, I don't feel like I'm there quite yet, and I'm working on it. And that's kind of my goal, man. I look at it. It's
not really, yeah. And again, Cobra Kai, that's not really the point. The point is just to be part of something, to be a group, to encourage each other. Like honestly, my goal for the club, and it hasn't always worked out because especially here, there's a lot of people that just don't like when anybody does good and they want to tear down other people. So if the more you're doing good, the more they want to tear you down, which has never been the point for this. The point was to get as many people playing cornhole as possible and feeling like they were part of something and to feel good about it. That was the whole purpose of it. So the same thing when I went out to Europe and trying to get people and I got people from Germany, I got people from Belgium and Croatia and UK and stuff, was just to be like, hey, we're going to be part of something and we're growing this sport together. And, I try to choose really good people like the Croatians. I don't say what you say about them. Those people love this game.
Oh yeah.
And you'll have every one of them a rounders match. You know, it's like it's rounders, and one of their team is playing a good team, and it's a close game. The entire team is there rooting for them for a rounders match. You know, like that is what I envisioned for Cobra Kai. That is what I envisioned for any cornhole, is all of us supporting each other. And that doesn't mean, hey, listen, if I play Graham, I don't care what level you think he is. I want to beat Graham. Graham, if you beat me, I played my ass off and you beat me, because I will. I want to win every time I'm on that.
Yeah.
But in the end, if you beat me, I respect you. And listen, when you go play, especially if you're a great guy, if you go play somebody else, I'm going to watch you and I'm going to root for you, even if you beat me. It doesn't matter. You should want to bid, but we should all try to make everybody have a good time, learn the game, laugh. I love going out to dinner with people after, like we go like hibachi and we're laughing and we're joking, because if you make this sport fun, people will want to play it.
Yeah. But it's like when we were in Paris and Maria beat Trey Birchfield.
It's awesome.
Now, she took a lot of online hate for that. Like literally online hate. Oh, Trey wasn't even trying. He wasn't even did it. And it was like, you're right. Trey didn't throw his best.
He didn't throw his best, but I guarantee you by the middle of that game, Trey was trying.
Oh, 100%.
Because that room was crazy. I was a pro for years. Okay. You don't want to lose that game. That game will be on internet. It'll be on Facebook. The pros will be talking about it. Everybody will have it into their chat message. He did not want. Now he probably went into it. I know he was hungover, because I have the video with him the night before. Oh, he was blasted. I mean, he was great. He was fun. We had a great time. But I have a video. He was liking the fact that he could drink in France. Let's just put it that way. And he had a good time. So I know he woke up in the morning feeling like a truck hit him. Now, I also want to say she played good. She threw in the 9s.
Yep.
Okay. She didn't. It wasn't 7-8 to 7-6. Right. She threw. I think 9, like 9-6, 7, 9-7. I'm trying to remember, but it was definitely in the 9s, because I looked. I wanted to say
9.5.
Yeah, she threw great, and she had to make that last bag with the entire place,
300 people
recording her and waiting to see if she could make. You know how hard it must have been to make that shot. Yeah, it had to be so hard to make that shot, and she made it. And you know what? Was he on his best game? No, but that's what when you're trying to play the best in the world, you're hoping you play great, and they have one of the games where they don't.
100%.
And that's what happened. That's what happened.
I always look at it like this: if me and you have to play each other, and we've played against each other, I'm not playing you, because I've still got to throw every bag in the hole. Period. I've got to have the best game I ever had, no matter what you're doing. No matter what you do, I've still got to play my best.
Yeah, you got to play. Yeah,
I always look at it like this: if you step to the boards now, and I say this because you're right, Trey did not throw his best. He did not throw at that world championship caliber that he's done with 3 world championships. I get that, but that's on him. That's his fault.
Yeah. And I promise you, by middle of the game, he wanted to. Now, you could say he went in thinking, which can happen. He could have went in thinking, I'm going to beat her, even if I'm going to beat her.
Yep.
And then she kept throwing him in, and all of a sudden he's down this many, then he's down that many. I promise you, when she got close, he wanted to win. At the
end of the day, all that mattered was she threw over a 9.5.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah, she threw good. He
had play again.
Yeah.
I know I've got to throw my best. Period. I've actually got to throw better than my best. Like my best.
It's the same thing I'm saying for her. Listen, I have bad games. I have bad days. Right. But if we go by statistics and odds, typically I'm going to throw good, and so you need to throw good. And you either have to throw really good and outdo me, or hope that I come down a little bit and you throw good. It's the same. I do the same thing for the top people. I beat some of the best people in the world. Would I beat them, in a series? Probably not. Probably not. You know what I mean? So I'd probably lose 3 out of 5, or depending on who it is the best person. But I beat some of the best people, because you know what? they missed a shot here or missed a shot there, and I was playing at my best. So that's how it has to go.
In Switzerland, in the swap, I threw against Mathieu in the swap, and I literally threw. It was like I threw like a 9.5, but unfortunately he threw like a 10.5. But I thought, I mean, a 9.5 wins other matches.
Yeah. I mean,
so I was.
You know what? You felt you can sleep at night, right? You're like, hey, 100%. I threw good, I battled. Somebody who threw amazing beat me.
Yep.
I get mad. I only get mad if somebody beats me with an 8-4. I'm not mad at them. I am mad at myself because I don't feel like I should ever lose to an 8-4. I get it. Some people out there like, but I've been playing for a long time. I play at a different level. I play at a different level, and to play with the best, you have to maintain this really high level. And so for me, I only am mad if I don't feel like I threw to where I should at least throw, and I feel like I should at least throw at a 9. At least, like on a bad day, I should throw a 9. For the tournament, when you look at it, I should throw it at 9. That's me having a bad day.
See,
so when somebody beats me with an 8-4, I get like, but I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at myself.
But this is why I get mad at Graham, because I watch Graham play and I'm like, Graham, I know you can throw better than that.
Yeah.
And then he starts making dumbass decisions, or gets in his own head and starts throwing bags into the next county.
I'm just trying to get the bags home before I do.
Yeah, a lot of this game is mental, though.
Yeah,
the muscle memory, but this game is very mental, and you can get into your head, and something bad happens, and a bad round happens, and it's whether or not you can come back from that. A lot of the cases, because it's going to happen. You just got to reset. I always tell people in most sports, it's your footwork, like basketball, football, whatever. It's how your feet are. And if your feet are messed up, it just works its way up and it's bad. So I can watch people sometimes and I see that every time they step to the board, their feet are a little different. And sometimes they're maybe 2 inches back from where they normally throw, or they have 1 foot a little forward and not 1 little foot forward, or they're not throwing exactly the same. So it's really hard for you to maintain the same thing every time if you're not starting with a base that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
When I do, so I know that I can come back to it, because you get out of sorts. You start throwing and you start forgetting your mechanics. And you go, okay, I'm off here. I know my foot should be right again in line with the board, front foot forward. I know where this foot should be. I know where my bag should start. So you'll see when I play, I pull the bag in front of me, hold it first. I know exactly where it should be, and then pull it back and where my hand should be at the end. Now you get away from it, but I can come back to that when I get away. And everybody should have a baseline of what you come back to, so because it's going to happen. You start doing some shots, and all of a sudden you're drifting with your arm. And you're like, oh man, my arm should be here, and now I see that I'm drifting like this, and that's why my bag is ending up a little left, because my hand should be here.
But I think
if you don't mark those things when you practice, if you don't mark those, you don't know. You're like, do I normally do that, or don't I normally do it?
My biggest thing, when I start playing bad, I try to rush through it, so I start going quicker instead of taking the time out and slowing down. I think, right, just get this bag round out of the way, and then I rush the rest of the bags, and then before I know it, I've given up 8-9 points.
Yeah.
And then I've compounded the issue.
See, but
I know that's my problem.
I think it can happen on both sides. You can get in a groove and you're like, hole, and now you get excited and you still get out of your rhythm, because now you're just thinking about, man, I'm throwing the best I've ever thrown. And then it's the same. I think you can do both the same. And I think I will say this, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, Shawn, man, you're a good dude. We hang out when you come to, into Europe. We've hung out a lot. But I will say this. I watch you play a lot when you're over here and stuff. And I do agree, man. You're probably one of the best about just refocusing and recentering yourself every time. And I don't think a lot of us do that. We think we do. I like to think I do. I like to think I can breathe it out and get back and get right back to where I was. But I will agree. I don't think I've watched anybody outside of maybe like Mark Richards, I think he's
Oh yeah,
really,
he's
really
ridiculous.
fucking good at it.
But I want you to, next time you watch him, now, exactly what I was talking about doing exactly the same thing. I want you to watch him the next time he stands exactly the same, picks that bag, he actually touches it with his other hand, and then does his throw. It is the same. He may change his position depending, but
yeah, if he has to step out,
meticulous process of how he does it each time.
Yeah,
and a lot of this is how you react and can you recover. So that's something you got to work. Like the next time something bad happens, take a second. Hopefully you've worked on what I said and you know where you should be, and just it's coming back. Just remember, like, I just got to get back to it. Don't let. A lot of times it happens. Somebody gets. They can be throwing. They're in, and something happens. And it could just be weird. It could just be the bag did something weird, and then they're thinking about it, and then the next one they throw off the board, and then the rest of the whole match is gone. Like they never get it back. Like I know a lot of people who once they buckle and something bad happens, as long as I go in, they can't recover. They're always behind, and they're always a little off. They're always a little thing. You need to be able to recover. It's huge in this sport.
It is a big thing. And with that, we're getting on. So we're going to transition, because if we don't, we're going to sit here and talk all night long.
Yeah, I know. You start talking about cornhole, it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
We've had short episodes.
I love this sport. Like,
really
I love coming to Europe and talking to people about cornhole. I love to be like, hey, this is what, especially watching the game. When I watch that doubles game, I'm sitting there, my wife's next to me, and I'm sitting there like, why would you do that? Why? Why would you do that? Why? You can ask her. She's like, oh, like they're just not thinking about it. I'm like, but why listen, you know what if we're playing together and you miss a shot, but it's the correct shot, I don't care. If you make a stupid decision, that drives me out of my mind, because I feel like talent you have to work on. Right. You tried to go in the hole. You tried to get you tried to make the right shot, and you just couldn't do it. I feel like you can fix not making the dumb choice, the decision. I feel like you can learn the game and fix that. That seems like easier than making 9 out of 10 airmails. Knowing what the situation is and what you should play. I feel like that's so much easier to bring your game higher. You know what I mean?
For sure. Speaking of Jennifer, she's got to be the best spouse in the whole cornhole circuit, man.
Oh, no, absolutely.
She's amazing.
Sponsored by Jen. She's on my wall over here. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get a picture over there.
She was on your pro jersey. She's amazing, and she's the nicest person.
Nice.
And the funny thing about this, so this picture is from a cornhole a match, and I'm not in it. It's my good friend who played a lot with Nick Patuski, and Zach Stickney were playing USA junior doubles, and so they're down in Rock Hill. It's lights, everything, cameras, it's TV. It was a huge match, and they were down, and she was freaked out for them. And that was literally her picture. And I made it into a cartoon, but that was her, all nervous and scared for them to to pull it out. So it's not like she just does it. She does love the game. She loves, supporting the people, and she wants them to win.
100%. I've been fortunate enough, like I said earlier, man, I've been fortunate enough to hang out with you and Jennifer at a number of events.
Like, I couldn't do any of this without her. So
I mean, there's probably been. I've known you since Paris, so that would have been September of 23. Since then, we've probably hung out at 4 or 5 other events. So and then having Jennifer around, because y'all came to the UK last year and all that. But yeah, it's no, she's awesome, and she's that spouse, man, that if you have a hobby or you have a hobby sport that you play, that's the spouse you want, man. That one that's just backing you 100% all the time.
Listen, I can't. She really does sponsor me. It's her money. That is sending me that.
I know.
I want people to know it's not her just being like, it's not just her being like, hey, you can go play. She makes the fact that I can do the things that I do happen.
I know.
She supports me. She put, like, I remember when I was trying to be a pro and I was really working hard and I'm traveling all the time because I got to get the points. I got to give it to play. And I was really working hard. She put together this mental like collage thing of like, she basically put my name as number 1 in like points and stuff, and then she put like me in a pro jersey, and she put like, so that it was like so I came and she put it on my mirror so that I could focus and see myself in that position. And like I said, she's always my biggest fan, and she's always pushing me. And I have a bad day in cornhole, and of course I'm going to complain to her and be like, and she'll try to pick me up and say, no, you're great, and this and that, and you're going to do better and this and that, because you kind of want to beat yourself up when you don't have a good day or whatever, and she's definitely there, and I thank God that she's there.
You're right though. She literally cheers for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when y'all were over here, like any tournament we've been to, and I've seen her there as well. I mean, there's a match going on. She's cheering she's like, let's go. Like she's a great person. And
she used to play, and we used to but it got so competitive, and what happens is I end up being around a lot of people who are towards the top, and they're not always the nicest people. Sure. And she hears what they say about people who don't play as good. Yeah. And it kind of turned her off to that, because she felt like, now I'm going to play with this person, or I'm going to play with somebody knowing that they're not happy that they got me, or right. If I play bad. And it kind of ruined it, and it really pissed me off, because I'm never that way. Like, I'm fine with however it is, and I just play it, and we're gonna get you better, and we're gonna have some fun, right?
Sure.
And that's the way it should be. But because she's been around it, and they don't really. She's sitting there, but they don't think about how she's listening and seeing what you're saying when you get these bad people, and she's like, oh, I just don't want to ruin anybody's day. That's not what I'm trying to, what I mean? I'm like,
so then she probably enjoys coming over to Europe more as well.
Yeah.
Because it's such a more friendly environment.
Yeah. Oh no, listen, I hope you guys never change. I do want to say the American one was great for the first 2021, 2022. Everybody was for each other. Everybody was singing. And somehow it really did lose something here. And that's why I still do like Europe. People are just so competitive, and they really you see some really just bad stuff, like the way people towards other people. And it really is taking down the game. And I hope to God that it doesn't happen over there. And I told the Croatians, we went to dinner, and when I did, I stood up and we were talking, and I said, don't let anything change how you guys are. You know what I mean? Don't let somebody's success at this table, somebody's gonna do some great things, right? And you can't let that make the rest of you bitter and mad. You should support that person. Now, again, I'm going to say it for the 5th time. It doesn't mean when I play that person or that person, you play them, they're part of your group, you want to beat them. I want to beat you. But when I'm not playing you, I'm rooting for you. Sure. I want you to do well. You should support everybody when you're not playing them, and beat them when they're on the boards, and respect them if you lost. I always respect anybody who's beaten me. You put in the work. I didn't. Whether you played great or I played bad, or you just played amazing and I played good, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. You stepped on the court and you won the match.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I found in Paris with the singles. Is like, after every game, if you beat that person, you suddenly got a new fan.
Yeah, yeah,
and that's what I loved about it.
It's a great game, and I hope everybody. I hope Europe stays that way, because it's why I still like to come over, and I still like to be part of the groups and be friends with everybody and get everybody going. So, and like I said, the Croatians really have it right now. I hope it stays that way. I mean, I think all the cornhole community should be the way that they are.
I agree.
I'm not trying to take sides on stuff, but you can't watch them people cheer for each other and stand around for what for most people is a meaningless game. and not be like, that's how we should be. That is how we should be.
No, I agree 100%. So what tournaments is she coming with you?
UK and Finland.
Yeah.
And I'll have my daughter Natalie there for that too.
Oh, nice. So I get to hang out with all of you guys for 2 different tournaments. That's amazing. I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
So you guys out in Europe, man. Hey, if y'all are listening, Shawn's on his way. He'll be in Belgium in a couple weeks.
Yep. Maybe Norway. If somebody with a 9+ gives me a shout out, I'll jump on a plane to Norway.
He might even do it for an 8.5 if you're listening out there.
Yeah.
If you're the right kind of player, 8.5, he might take you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hit me up. We'll see.
Well, Shawn,
I do want to come play. I do like Norway too. So, but thanks for having me on. And
Shawn, thanks for coming on. Hey, real quick though, we're gonna rip through what we call a deck round. 10 quick fire questions about cornhole. Graham, this is where you shine.
Yeah. All right. Number 1, how did you get into cornhole?
Camping. I was at a campground, and they played it there, and I'm like, oh, let me try this game. And maybe you guys don't know. Everybody in the U.S. knows. I actually threw overhand first because I played basketball. And I'm like, all right. So then I got okay with it. But the ACL, you can't throw overhand. And somebody did a blind draw. And so I went down, and I'm like, oh, we're not doing anything. This game seems kind of fun. And it was a $5 blind draw at the campground. Nothing, no official anything. But the guy was ACL. And he was better than everybody. I was terrible. I was like just started playing like yesterday. And he was like, nope, you cannot throw overhand. He was adamant. Everybody else was like, nobody cares. You're going to win anyway. He's like, nope. So literally, all of this, us knowing each other, all that stuff, I know it's the ACL, but it's because that guy said I couldn't throw overhand. I literally decided that I was going to get really good at cornhole and beat him. And here we are.
A little bit.
How long ago was that?
Oh, 2020, 2021.
Yeah. That's more or less question 2, how long you've been playing. So we'll jump to question 3, your cornhole goal.
It's different than it used to be. I'm surgically repaired. I'm pushing 50. I think me being at the top in the US, because that was a goal. I wanted to go be one of the best here. I wanted to go play and win a national and stuff like that. I no longer have that goal. Now I have going and trying to spread the game, meet more people abroad, and maybe I have some little part of it becoming in the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like if they take it, I can look back and go, listen, I get it. The ACL will have the biggest part, but I'll feel like I have a little part in helping it grow and get in, and that would be my goal.
Yeah.
Real quick, do you have any aspirations to do in 5 years, get back in it and be on the senior tour?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at it at the time. I really don't. Right now, I'd say no.
Okay, fair enough.
Your highlights so far?
What's that?
Your cornhole highlights so far?
Shawn, you have to understand, we ask a lot of people that are not at your level these questions.
No, I'm just looking at it. I've had quite some good and awesome stuff. I'm gonna say the first Europe Open, winning the singles and winning the teams. It's the first time I was on TV. Nobody knew who I was, and I wasn't expected to win, let alone double dip to win the first Open. So that's my biggest achievement.
Your favorite shot?
My favorite shot? Backside airmail. It might be roll in a year because I'm getting much better at it. But right now, I'll say backside airmail.
What bags do you currently use?
I'm using. It's funny because I'm a free agent right now, which is the first time in years I'm not forced to, which I shouldn't say forced. I would never pick a bad company that I couldn't throw just for money or something. But I still throw my Ninja bags, even though, I don't get, they're not even part of the ACL anymore. I still throw my Ninja bags, the poisons. But I am also throwing the Brotherhood Guardians, the heavies. I think that's H, I think.
That's a popular bag.
Yeah, it's a good
I don't know
bag.
what the heavies are, but the Brotherhood Guardians have been a popular bag this season.
Yeah, no, and listen, you know what? They're not paying me. So, like, you can take this as, this is as pure as you can get, is my opinion, because nobody's telling me or paying me for this info,
Yeah. Your favorite player?
I would say probably Mark Richards, only because I play a chess game and that guy plays the chess game at an insane level. He just has better talent than I do.
Touche.
But I could have had him in Australia. It still makes me mad. I had to, I did the math in my head, and I'm like, if I make this push, I win. And then I didn't make the push. I think because it was a pretty simple push, and he had missed 2 airmails, and so I had come back, and literally all I have to do is if I make this push, the game's over. And I thought about it in my head, and didn't. But he definitely plays an amazing game with a high talent, and he plays chess. So that's definitely my favorite.
Your dream cornhole partner?
I don't. I guess I'd say Mark Richards then, because if he's going to be your favorite player, it'd be weird to be like, yeah, but I don't want to play with him though.
Yeah.
No, that's untrue though. That's untrue, because I believe there are people that you could play with that would just be funner to play with than maybe your favorite person to watch play.
My favorite person to like, if you're talking like my favorite person to win something with, if I were to win something, I would love to Jen to play again and win something. That'd be cool, no matter what it was.
Right, that's the answer we're taking now. Your favorite thing about cornhole?
The people.
And what other hobbies outside of cornhole?
I hunt. I do a lot of hunting. I spend a lot of time in the woods. The older I get, the more I take pictures of them. And then when I was younger, it was all about shooting as much stuff, and you only won if you got something and brought it home. Now, as I got older, I actually bought a nice camera, and I take, like, if it's not what I'm looking for, I just take pictures of it.
Yeah. I like that. I
do like being in the woods. There is something to hunting. Like, man has been hunting since his existence, and there's still something, I have a connection to being in the woods and hunting something, especially if you're saying this is what I'm looking to get, and putting yourself in that position to get it.
For sure, man. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, Shawn, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, it's been great having you.
Absolutely, yeah, no, I love it. And guys, keep it up. Keep spreading the sport. Keep doing your podcast. Get people talking. That's the whole goal. So I like what you guys are doing, and keep it up.
I hope this isn't the last time we have you on the show. I'm hoping we can get you on the show again once you start getting back over here to Europe to help us break down some of these tournaments.
Yep.
Well, I know we'll pencil you in now for after the ACL UK Open. So is that normally we tend to get the winners of stuff in the UK on the episodes following it. So
yeah, I'm the defending.
I'd imagine you'd win something there. So it makes
I'm the
sense.
defending. I'm looking at my thing. I'm the defending doubles winner there and defending blind draw winner.
Yeah, and let me tell you how mad Dean Norton was when y'all won doubles.
Hey, he won. Didn't he win singles?
Yeah. But man, he was mad on doubles day. Woo!
Yeah, he didn't get the swap though. That was my fault. We were one and done.
I played good. It's funny because you talk about resetting, right? The game before, I played bad. before we got to the finals, I think the king seat match, I played terrible. I really just had a bad game, and nothing was working. And I literally went out, like took a walk. You go out the back doors, and I just took a walk, and just was like, all right, I gotta. And then when I came back, I was good, and my shots hit. And I hit some really nice airmails and push shots, and really, that's getting together though. You got to get it back.
You're welcome.
You're welcome for having.
He looks over at me and he goes, Josh, go put on some 90s rap.
Oh, yeah, hip hop. Yeah. No, that does help me. Yeah, 90s hip hop. Yeah, thank you.
I put it on, and everybody in the room was like, everybody in the whole building's like, what is going on? And you just see Shawn over there like, yep, let's go.
That's my youth right there. I felt like I was young again.
Yeah, I get it. We're about the same age, Shawn.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely
got me by a few years, but we're pretty close. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Anytime to talk about cornhole. So I'll see you guys in Europe.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, Shawn.
Later.
Man, what a good guest to have on.
Yeah.
We've been
Unfortunately,
talking
we couldn't get him on a couple of weeks ago due to technical difficulties with us both.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad, though. I'm kind of glad that we got him on this week to talk about kind of the controversy of yesterday's matches and to get his perspective on this. And Shawn's always a good guest to have on, man. And I hope we'll get him on again because between like him and I speak of these three very highly, him, Denny Mallon, and Jimmy Humans, because they have traveled over here the most.
Yeah.
And they do come over and they do put their mark on the sport. And it's not a I'm better than you mark. It's a fuck, man, we're just trying to grow this game.
Yeah.
Let's all have a good time and grow this game. So I'm hoping that, we get them back on. I think the UK Open, I think it'd be great if we could try to even just get a bonus episode, like a bonus 30-minute episode, man. And we just all sit down, Denny, Shawn, me, you, and like we just sit down and we all just chat about the weekend again. Just a little bonus episode. We'll try.
Yeah.
We gotta
make sure you have some beers in your fridge then.
What's that?
So make sure you get plenty of beers in your fridge for that.
Yeah.
Just all.
But yeah, let's try, man. Let's try to get a bonus episode.
Yeah,
it's such a good episode, man. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited. We've got the UK National Championships in just under 4 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weekends. Woo! It's gonna be good, man. Richard Blank is coming over here with a vengeance, throwing great right now. Liam is coming to say, hey, I'm bringing this back to the UK. Me, I'm just there.
Hey, you won the most recent one, so you'd argue you're the man to beat.
No, I'm not. I'm just there, man. Hey, if I podium, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If I fucking shit the bed, I'm going to be so mad that I didn't just go to Bavaria. But we're going to try, man. We're going to try real hard. Obviously, both of us get to be in the top tier and vie for that national championship, which I'm super proud of you for getting in. Yeah. Thank you, Nick Shaw, for dropping out.
But I was 16th in the order of merit anyway. It's just because Richard, he only turned up for one, won it. He was 17th, so he leapfrogged me.
Shit happens sometimes, bud.
I just had a bad showing at Q4. It's on me. Yeah,
it wasn't your best. But I will say this. It's going to be a good time, man. But we got to wrap up, dude. We're pushing 2 hours.
2 hours nearly,
although I always feel like when we have a good guest like Shawn on, I think
it goes quick.
But I think people are more likely to stay tuned throughout the whole episode. So yeah, let's hope that's the case and everybody's listening. Hey, let's get it out there though. And I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the episode because if people aren't listening, we're kind of doing ourselves in on this. But hey, our sponsors, Slicky Baggers, are putting up another raffle this week for more bags. So please pay attention to our socials, their socials. Get out there, put your money in, man. Last time there was only like 6 people. Try to win some free bags, dude. They put out good bags. We got mail today. So these are Graham's crazy bags.
Then the backside, it's that similar Viper material, isn't it?
It is. And then these are mine. We both got some crazy bags today. Thank you, Slicky Baggers, for sending us the bags, getting them out there. Pay attention to our socials.
They have started getting some merch on the site now. It's not just bags. So they have got these jerseys on there. So they have the orange, this, and the lime green, which is the one you've got. So they're now on the site.
Well, first of all, my lime green's a little special. My lime green came from one of the co-founders. So
yeah,
sorry about your luck. But no, get out there. And if there's something on that website that you're not seeing, if there's merch out there that you've seen one of us wear, hats, all these things, please, if it's not on the website and you want a hat or you want something like that, let me know because I'm going to see these guys in Italy in June after the national championships. The very next weekend, I will be in Italy with these guys. And I can possibly hook you up.
Yeah.
I will only charge you a small fee to bring stuff back for you.
But remember, there's our discount code too. Just B10.
Yeah, get on that website, man. Use Just B10. Get a discount, man. Hey, and if you don't like our podcast, that's fine. Use Eurotrash 10, dude. Use their discount, man. They got a good podcast too. But nonetheless, get out there, man. Support these guys. You say you love cornhole, let's get out there and support these guys.
Yeah.
Support the people that are local to you.
Definitely.
All right, man. Tomorrow night, Barry Baggers.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Coventry.
Thursday night.
Newcastle. I think, but is Wednesdays also Narsdale? Featherstone Flyers.
I think Narsdale is on Wednesdays.
Friday. Don't know.
Nothing. Manchester's moving to a Sunday.
We still haven't got confirmation of.
I'm pretty sure I saw a post out there that it was going to be on Sunday this week, or was that last week?
Last week they were trying to get something, but it didn't unfortunately go ahead. Couldn't get the numbers to cover the cost.
Either way, we're back into good weather for the Europeans.
Yeah, just get outside and throw.
Try to get out there. The UK never has good weather, but this weekend was good. We were throwing outside yesterday. On Saturday. Today's Monday. My bad. But anyway, what day's the Scotsman? Oh, they're today. Damn. It's always a day late. My bad. Craig, my bad, bud.
And Sunday will be Solent.
Yep.
They always seem to have a good club night on going on there.
I don't want Jared getting any more practice than need be. Yeah, I hear you, Jared. I got you, boy.
And other than that, it's ACL Signature 3 this weekend.
Woo! I'm excited, man.
Who's your pick? Who's taking it down then?
In singles?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna. I actually think I have a surprise pickup for the week.
Oh, we're bordering on a hot take here.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know if I have a hot take, but I think I'm going to drop someone and I'm going to pick up this player because week in and week out, man, I talk to this dude and I'm going to put my eggs in this basket, man. I don't know if it's going to pay off, but I don't want to say this because I don't want anybody picking him up before me. So no, I'm gonna leave it to myself.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it to myself. We'll know if it pays out next Monday because I'll tell everybody.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not gonna lie. If I had to get back on it, I know this weekend or in Signature 2 wasn't the same. But if I had to get back on it, man, my money's back on. I'm gonna pick my dude. I'm gonna pick Tony because that's my guy and my team. But I'm not ruling out Woody's Mark Richards, dude. I'm not.
Yeah.
I know Mark didn't have a great weekend in singles. By his standards, by all of our standards, we're like, bro, you're there. It's a good fucking weekend. But no, I got Tony Smith taking it all this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my eggs in the Trey Birchfield basket.
All right.
He had a fifth in bracket in Sig 1, and then he was runner-up in his bracket and in Sig 2. So I think he's going to go that step further again, win this bracket, and at least get to the final. So either at least runner-up overall, but I reckon he's going to take it down this weekend in singles.
For doubles, I'm putting Mark and Tony back up there, man. I think they get back on track.
I'm sticking with Jamie and Jacob Trzynski. How Jacob Trzynski threw in that doubles, it was ridiculous.
I can't fault you on that.
To be fair, how he threw that weekend was ridiculous anyway. Like his losses, but only he was throwing high PPRs. It was only because there was just them. It was just ran into somebody who was just playing not their A game, their A++ game against him.
Jacob had the best PPR for the weekend on doubles.
Yeah.
Women's, I don't care. I know Cheyenne's the favorite. She always is. But hey, man, I'm gonna stick with my girl Caitlin, dude.
Yeah.
That girl's she's throwing fire. And if not, hey, if it ain't her, man, I'm gonna go with
Lori.
I'm gonna go with my homegirl Lori Duel, dude. Let's go. Let's go. Seniors, hey, Schroeder played good all season.
Yeah.
He's coming back. He's coming back strong this week, dude.
You know me. I can never not pick Damon Dennis.
I know.
It's every time, no matter what. Like he could turn up with a broken leg, and I'm probably still going to pick him.
And for juniors, I'm sticking with my pick, Ryan Trader. That he's back to throwing good. He's wanting to be on that broadcast court. He's wanting to fucking be out there. So to me, that says he's starting to find his ground and he's getting it back in. So I'm going to stick with him, man. And I'm going to go.
Yeah, he's a back-to-back bracket wins. So, but I'm going to go with my pick, who's Jackson Gore, who's a bracket win, and then he was the runner-up. So I think he's going that step further this time and getting it done.
I guess we'll see this weekend, won't we?
Yeah, so.
All right, guys. I know we're almost at 2 hours. I know it's a long podcast. I know most of you assholes don't even listen.
I know somebody who's going to listen to it all still, even as soon as I post this. So
I know a couple.
And we appreciate you, John.
I know a couple people that will. I know a lot of people that don't listen to it at all. So I can talk shit all I want because you're never going to know. It kind of breaks my heart. It kind of breaks my heart that you don't. But we had a good guest on this week, and we ran a little longer than we normally do. I know we usually get to about an hour and a half anyway. We're pushing 2 hours. But that's because we had an hour and a half of a great guest.
And we could have easily gone 3 hours with Shawn.
Absolutely. And we'll
I
go
don't think we'd have run out of stuff to talk about still.
But if you guys don't want to listen to us, that's fine, man. Just be man about it. Be honest about it. Tell me when we're at the Nationals that you just don't want to listen to my podcast so that I don't waste any more time trying to promote it to you.
Or at least give us some ideas of what you do want to listen to. We want to improve it.
Yeah, but I don't really care.
Well, no.
No, I do. I want to improve it, but the fact of the matter is, it's not like there's 1,000 podcasts to choose from talking cornhole in the UK
Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
Europe. There's 2 of us,
Yeah.
and we're the only one that puts on something every week.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to listen to me, that's fine, man. I'm not going to be upset about it. It is what it is. But let me know, and then I won't put any effort into trying to get you to listen to it.
Yeah.
We can still be friends. We can still be friends. But I don't want to waste merch on you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
No. Get it.
We talk local businesses. We talk about community. Let's
Support
support
your
that community.
friends. Yeah.
I don't know. I get a little upset about it. You know, I don't. It's not. It's not like I have a ton of friends and family in the United Kingdom, man. You know, everybody's got family support. I've got my 2 children.
And your brother from another mother.
No, but my point
But I'm
being,
4 hours away.
like, we all got our things, don't we?
Yeah.
So I do this because I love you, brother.
Yeah. Same.
And I have a good time doing it. And I'm trying to grow the sport, and I'm trying to make friends, and I'm trying to be close to people. But if you don't want to be close, that's fine. I ain't gonna get upset about it, man. I'll be all right. Anyway. Hey, I'm
We
bullshit.
digress.
Fucking listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, let's go.
Yeah.
We'll recap number 3. There is no ACL Europe this weekend.
So it'll be recap of that, and then
The next ACL Canada Open is at the end of the month. I'm not going to get a chance to watch a ton of it because I have a wedding that weekend as well.
I think that might clash with it.
I don't. That's the weekend before.
I think that clashes with something else, either in Europe or SIG 4.
I don't know.
But I do believe we do know a few Canadians who are potentially playing in that. So who knows? Maybe get them on to give it a little insight or something.
But in case you were wondering, just board it.
Just bought it. Laters.
I'm Josh.
I'm Graham.
Peace out, homies.
Peace out. Laters. And we're out.